Welcome to another episode of Outside Shots, another remote edition of Outside Shots, because my man EJ is all the way out in the middle of Michigan somewhere. Where are you at?
I'm in Detroit, Michigan right now, but I got to get on a bus in a couple of hours to go over to East Lansing because we're playing at the Breslin Center where the Michigan State Spartans play.
Yeah, and, somewhere where you almost played.
Yeah,
but you didn't. You obviously
I didn't follow Magic. Well, we wouldn't have played. We wouldn't have played in the Breslin Center. They had a different type of arena back then. But yeah,
true. Yeah, but I mean, you opted to not play with one of the greatest players of all time, which is to each is their own.
Yeah, hung out with all the players. We had dinner at Matt Ishbia's house. It's a beautiful, beautiful environment. That's all I can
say. You see, when you say house, I'm going to assume it's not like our houses.
No.
Yeah. I mean, listen, man, I've always wondered what that type of lifestyle would really mean to me. And I don't know. I would love to sit here and think that, like, if I had billions of dollars, I would be happy and be able to do all the things. Yeah, you would be able to do all the things you want, but would you be happy? I don't know.
Well, you do. You move on to the next worry. And I heard a quote from Warren Buffett the other day. He says one of the reasons he's giving his money away is because it's not even money to him anymore. It's a utility.
Yeah.
and that's what people always laugh when people say, boy, if I was making that money, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done this. No, you move on to the next. And what I remind people is the easiest part is when they get a new car, right? When you get that new car, you're washing that thing every day, cleaning it up for about a month or two. And as it get older, you start to ignore it. And then you're on to the next desire. You're on to the next want.
Yeah.
And so you have to put yourself into that space. So no, the money part makes you convenient. Yes, gives you the opportunity to get things that you probably could never get. But ultimately, Father Time does not care how much money you have.
That's very true.
And so stress and just everyday life is more important than anything that you might have materialistic.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I totally agree with that. So those are life lessons from Eddie Johnson to start the show. Just so you all know.
A little something for me, Jay.
Some life lessons were learned maybe on the court the other night as the Suns took on the Lakers. Obviously, EJ, there's a lot of hope. I think there's a lot more hope going into this season because last year when we went in, we had hope. Don't get me wrong, but you still didn't know how these pieces were going to mesh together. And after, it felt like a couple months, it felt like, man, is this ever going to come together? And it was a chore at times to be able to try to figure this team out. I think this season, people are a little bit more optimistic, but they're cautiously optimistic. And game one, I felt like showed you some glimpses of what the Suns might actually be all about. First of all, they had 20 plus threes that they launched in the first half alone. I thought that was a significant barometer. I thought the rookies played very, very well. I thought Oso and his passing ability was phenomenal. And I just thought all around the energy, the pace was a little bit more akin to what you would like to see out of this team. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously what stood out is the 3-point attempts, right? Obviously, Mike Budenholzer is imploring his guys to just take threes. Push the ball up, take threes. Now, it's easy to put the brakes on something. Mm-hmm. It's hard to accelerate it. You can't tell a guy that's not used to scoring a lot of points to all of a sudden say, hey, I need you to go out there and average 20. It just doesn't work that way. You've been conditioned to have to do that, right? In baseball, you can't automatically start telling the guy, oh, we want you to swing for the fences when you've been basically hitting base hits. It's not that easy of a transition. So what coaches will do is they'll accelerate you and they'll say, okay, I'm not going to get on you about it. Take threes. We'll deal with the repercussions after. I want you all to get into the rhythm of playing fast, right? And then doing that. And I felt they did it. They they basically carried forward what he wanted. And I think as the season starts to happen and go through, then he'll start to put brakes on certain people. He'll start to say this, hey, you know what? He gave you an open drive. Look, you got a clear lane to the, line to the lane. Go ahead and do it. It's that stuff. It's building blocks, right? So I like what I saw. I like the effort. Look like they're in shape, which I like early in the year because I think if you're in shape early in the year, you can get off to a good start and not trying to work your way into a season. And so I love that aspect of it. And you're right. I like the bench, not only just the rookies. I like all the guys that's going to be playing that role off the bench. I thought they in the fourth quarter they did what they had to do. They made all the plays to win the game. Damian Lee to me is the not taking anything away from Oso and Ryan, but no. The bottom line is I know Damian Lee is going to play a huge role for this team.
Yeah.
Because he can shoot that three. And the one thing that I was looking at when I was watching him, see, I'm not worried about. They said he wasn't shooting the ball well in camp. I don't care. Dude can shoot. The last thing I'm worrying about with Damian Lee is if he's making shots.
Yeah.
But what I was worried about is how he was going to move on that knee. And he looked good on that knee.
I mean,
and that's all I wanted to see. He could have gone 0 for 10. It would not have mattered to me. No, not one iota. The fact that he was moving on that knee, he had a Euro move on that knee. I mean, he looked good on that knee. And if you're a Suns fan, that's what you concentrate on right now. This is training camp. You're getting yourself in a groove. If that was the case, should we worry about KD then? Because he couldn't throw it into an ocean.
I think he's gonna be fine.
Thank you. And I think Damian Lee's gonna be fine, right? So I was just more interested in his knee, and it looked good, man. So overall, man, I give them an A for a first game. Obviously, now if LeBron and AD had kept playing, it would have been a different story, probably.
Sure.
Because they were dominating in that first half, especially. But we're not trying to just win 5 preseason games. That's not going to get you anything. What we're trying to do is build and get a good rhythm. And then the last part what stood out. Obviously to everybody, and I know they saw it, is just Tyus Jones. Like, forget about how many points he scores. Forget about any of that. The dude's a point guard. And if he's facilitating like he is, it's going to make the life so easy for our big three. And that's the only thing I'm worried about right now is making sure that our point guard play is at a big level. And with Tyus Jones and Monty Morris, and even Gillespie at probably times this year.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
We got 3 guys that can play that position, and that's something we did not have last year.
Colin Gillespie, it really impressed me, and I've watched Colin Gillespie from afar, basically his whole career since he was at Villanova. Got a chance to see him in person actually when they played Houston in the Elite Eight a couple years ago in San Antonio, and I was just always impressed by his approach to the game, his tenacity on defense, but also, I mean, like, he's just a good ball player. And so I think he could easily find himself on this roster and definitely in a position to be able to contribute this season if he keeps going the way he is. And everybody in the chat is doing a phenomenal job. Also, shout out to everybody: Matthew D, Mark R, Leo, Psycho Hawk, Psycho Blue. You guys are all here once again, making some good points too. Let's get to some of these comments. Mark R said, the actions they were running in the small ball were really cool. Book screening for KD, Book and KD doing staggered screens for Monty Morris, so on and so forth. Like those things, those little small tweaks. It will be interesting to see how they adjust when Nurk gets back into the lineup, but I don't think it'll be too much. He's a different player than Plumlee for sure. Don't get me wrong. Same thing with Oso. However, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised at how they're going to use Nurk in this offense. I really do. And I think I'm going to go on a limb. I think Nurk is going to shoot the 3 ball a little bit more this season, and I think he's going to surprise some people. That's just
everybody's going to shoot the 3. I think that's the edit, right? Everybody's going to eat it. Just eat it, right? Eat it or edit.
Eat it. Eat it.
Yeah, edict. Yeah.
Edict.
Yeah.
EDICT.
Edict. right.
Psycho Blue with the super chat. I wonder what you guys make of the Wizards governor throwing shade at Beal for failing his plans to move the team to Northern Virginia by saying Brad got what he deserved, getting swept by Minnie.
Who said that?
The Wizards governor. I did not hear that one. And who cares? Because who cares? It's like the Wizards governor throwing shade is like that old adage: if a tree falls in the forest but nobody's around to hear it, does it really make a noise? Nobody's paying attention to the Wizards. Come on, what are we doing here?
It's not even that to me. It's more so, look, it's amazing how, people always talk about the principles of America. But yet, when somebody has the freedom to move or go where he wants or whatever within this country, it's an issue. Like, I could see if Brad had just taken the money and ran, he actually could have left years ago when he was a free agent the first time. But he elected to stay.
Yeah.
And not only that, he's very active in the community. So when you have that balance, if you're a governor, then you got to eat crow and just don't go there. Like you got family members, dude. I'm sure they make decisions and go elsewhere. Disappoint employers, they change jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just let it go. Like it's look, the Wizard was going to stink with them or without them. They've been stinking for years.
Yeah.
So until you put a team together and you reshuffle, you ought to be happy that Brad left because it gives you an opportunity to reshuffle. It's not Brad's fault that you went out and you tried to rebuild the team on the fly again, and those guys can't win games.
Yeah.
So
no. Very true. Very true. I mean, hey, it's irrelevant because he's gone. It doesn't matter. Like, they just need to get over it. Everybody needs to move on. It's too bad that he took a year. He took a shot a year later, but it's whatever. So last thing I do want to get back to in terms of the game. Overall, you're around the team. What has been the vibe so far? Behind the scenes, training camp, on the road. Obviously, you're traveling to Detroit or to Lansing, to the East Lansing today. Can you feel it? Can you feel it being any different right now? Is it too early to tell? Like, what are the vibes like?
I think anytime you have a new coach, you have excitement and wonderment of how it's going to work out for you. The beginning of a new season, it always brings excitement. I sense that. And then expectation, all right? Expectation that's rightly so. Now you got a point guard, no excuses there. I think all those things have them at a good place. Have them at a good place, and knowing what they have to do. Look, start the season playing the Lakers and the Clippers, and then the Mavericks. 5 games, right? Clippers, Lakers twice, and then the Mavericks. Start a season. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I happen to think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it's always good to get the good teams early on, because then it's more than just a talent battle. It's an endurance battle too. Who's in the better shape? Because early in the year, it's almost like an extension of the training camp because training camps have been cut and practices have been limited. And that's one of the things that I've always pushed for over the years. I think it has to improve. I think the Players Association has to agree with it. They don't act like they don't want to. But you see all these lower leg injuries happening right now. I think we've had like 3 or 4 guys out already with hamstring. And you know why? Because they're out of damn shape.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get on the highway and go 80, okay? And they haven't been doing all the necessary things before training camp started. But training camp has to go fast because coaches don't get a ton of practice time to get ready for the season. Because the players complained about two-a-days. They complained that the length of the preseason was too long. So they condensed it from 8 games to 5 games and 4 games. So if that's going to happen, you got to bring your ass in shape. You got to show up in shape. And you can just tell. Every year we go through this. Guys start to fall with hamstring. That's out of shape. There's nothing else. Out of shape. Hasn't been stretching. It's going through the motions. Thinking training camp is going to get them in shape. And that's not, lower leg injuries to me, man, that is a form of negligence a lot of the times. Unless somebody comes down hard on a knee or twisted or something like that, that's different.
Yeah.
But muscle injuries, to me, it reflects back to, are you stretching enough? Have you been doing all the things you're supposed to do to get your body ready? Because they're messing around in the offseason playing, in UCLA, and they going half-ass. But then when you get in training camp and you're going against guys trying to take your job and you got a coach over the top of you, you're going to push yourself. And in pushing yourself, what's going to happen? So it's like that car you got. Like if you tried to drive up next to me in that little electric vehicle I got, and you try to hit the accelerator to try to race me, you might blow an engine trying to keep up with me. You might. Your car might just blow up.
Do you even know what kind of car I drive?
I don't care.
What if I had another electric vehicle just like you?
Well, if it's not an X, you can't win.
Oh my goodness. No, listen. I again, I'm not a professional athlete, but I do know, at the beginning of the season, when you get through training camp, or even if you're really getting serious about your training before you get to training camp, let's just say, maybe a month out, that first couple weeks, there's a lot of soreness. There's a lot of, your tender in your hamstrings, your groin. You got to do a lot of stretching, a lot of therapy. You got to get in the ice tub. Like those are things that are just commonplace. And then at some point you heal up and then you're good to go basically until, unless you have some kind of, unfortunate injury that isn't really of your own doing. So I agree with you in terms of the wear and tear. And I do believe that has an impact on these players, the lighter loads. But again, like I go back and forth on this, Eddie, because these guys it feels like these guys have been playing year-round ball like their whole life, and I know, listen, pickup ball at UCLA is different than, full court in the middle of a season or in training camp, intensity. Like I know that because you can afford to coast a couple times here and there and not really hustle back and also, you can kind of go at your own pace, but it's still a grind to try and get your body into shape. So I don't know if they're as, it's not like they've just been on the beach for 3 months and then they're trying to get ramped back up, right? Like they've been active. It's just some guys take it more seriously than others in getting themselves prepared for the season. And I think it shows. So,
yeah, but so I'll just say this. And you're right about what you're saying, but it's levels to this.
Yeah.
This is like I think I'm in decent shape. But if I got there on the NBA court right now and all of a sudden tried to run up and down the court with them, they carry my ass out of that gym.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of shape.
Yeah.
Like you got to be like, yeah, you can mess around and, of course they're not just lazying around, but you got to keep yourself in high octane shape. I'm going to give you an example. Like some people go out, they might run a couple of miles, they'll go lift and they'll do their stretching. And you know what? That's pretty damn good. Like they'll be in good shape. But when I trained, I would get up at 6 in the morning. Okay. I would ride my bike up to the park. Okay. That's about 2 miles. I get off. I'd run 3 miles around the park. Then I'd get on the field. I'd run 60-yard dashes. Okay. 60, jog 40, turn around, 60, jog 40. I would start my program at 12, and then eventually I'd cap it out at around 25. Okay. Then I get back on my bike. I'd ride all the way up to ASU on the bike trail right over in Scottsdale.
Okay.
I'll turn around. I'll ride all the way back up to Shea. I'll go over to the YMCA, get off my bike, go in the gym, lift weights, shoot for about an hour and a half, get back on my bike, ride 3 miles back home. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, to get in shape for that game, you got to be in shape. I'd go up Camelback Mountain, but I didn't walk. I ran. Okay? I would get up there in less than 30 minutes. My best time was about 26 minutes.
Okay.
When I was in shape. Like, that's how you get in shape for the NBA. Like, so my point is, yeah, they can mess around and do all of that, but that's not going to get you ready to play this game. And your body is not used to it. It gets out of whack, and all of a sudden you have these weird ass injuries. And so that's what I'm saying. And that's why I would believe the guy should give in to practicing more in training camp. You don't have to play more games. I don't care about the games. I care about the practice. And I didn't like practice, okay? But I knew it was a necessary evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's to me is the difference in the start of a season, man. The teams that's in better shape get off to a better start. It has nothing to do with overall talent early in the year. Boston last year was in great shape. You can tell. You can tell them dudes were in great shape, man. And what did they do? They dominated the entire season. Think about it. They ran through the regular season and they ran through the playoff and they won a title. And that should be the mindset of every team.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. But before we move on to the next part, who was the one player, if you had to pick one player that was the most impressive to you the other night against LA, who would that have been?
I think Colin Gillespie really showed himself. Now, if they're going to transfer to him elevating himself and get more minutes and all that, probably not.
He's going to be an all-star this year.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, right. Probably not, because he's not going to, play in front of, obviously, Tyus Jones. He's not going to play in front of Monty Morris. And then in the emergency situation, if those two don't have it going or they're in foul trouble or what have you, then he'll probably say, okay, Devin, we're going to put you back there for this game. So it's going to be difficult for him, but I thought he held his own and he's working for that roster spot, and he has a great chance to get it.
Yeah,
he truly does. And so he stood out for me. I think, like you said, also with his passing was very good. I thought he's very active. I thought Ryan Dunn, his shot seems to be improving. He wasn't bashful in taking his shots. But to me, the biggest surprise, and I hope it can continue, I know he's been streaky with it over the years, right? It's Josh Okogie. Like I told Josh after the game, I said, you look like a mini Kobe out there tonight. I mean, like he had it going, man. And look, if his offense is a threat, he will carve out minutes, because we already know what he's going to do in the hustle part of the game and on defense. We already know that. So the only thing that's going to ever hold him back is his ability to make shots. And he looked good against the Lakers.
Yeah. Hey, that little reverse was, that was tasty for the and one. That was nice. I ain't gonna lie about that. So somebody said Okobe is what we can call him. Okobe.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I like that. Eli, I appreciate you. Eli also said, miss you on the panel, Saul. Hey man, I appreciate it, man. It's yeah, I mean, listen, I get my fill of Sun stuff this every week with EJ, and so that's good enough for me. But I appreciate the love as always. And listen, we have a lot of things that go on here. EJ and I are wearing hats, but first, let's tell you about some other people that have hats. Our friends at Branded Bills have always been there for us. They're fantastic. Their hats are completely elevated. They're just a different style. They're like this material that is breathable. If it rains outside, you don't have to worry about your hat just getting all ruined and stuff like that. Like these hats, as much as I love them, if they get wet, not a good thing, right? But Brandon Bills, you don't have to worry about that stuff. They have partnerships with ASU, U of A, the Suns, everybody basically in the Valley. They do such a great job. If you're looking for some gear with custom headwear, start your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. So if you have a business out there and you want some custom apparel, that's the place to go. Brandon Bills is fantastic. You can't go wrong with Brandon Bills. I have 5 U of A hats, all from Brandon Bills. They're all fantastic. I wear them just about every day. They're so comfortable. They're stretchy. It's probably the best hat I've ever had, point blank. So
Wow.
check them out. Yeah, I mean, CTA, listen, head to brandonbills.com and use code PHNX for 20% off your first order to save yourself some money. Again, that's promo code PHNX. Save yourself up to 20% on your first order. It is fantastic. You can't go wrong with that. And you also can't go wrong with our good friends over at Circle K. Obviously, Circle K is the best convenience store out there. But in addition to that, it's the best place to go and get your gas. You need to join the inner circle today by going to circlek.com and downloading the app. Listen, you can save up to 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. You can save up to 5 cents after that on each fill-up per gallon. It is fantastic. And enjoy your member exclusive beverage deals. Inner Circle members like you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents. It's actually 69 cents if you use the app, which is EJ, you let me down. It's nice. It's nice. So join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. All right.
Why are you trying to surprise me on stuff that I'm supposed to fill in with? Like, can you let me know ahead of time? Like, I know we've been around each other a while, and I should kind of catch on to what you're saying. But
I mean,
can I address something real quick? Because
sure.
I'm so tired of it. So, as you well know, and I call out, and this is for somebody that sent me a message on Twitter. Obviously, he's watching our show right now. Like, I want to get this straight for people. Everybody that did not play in the NBA is not a water boy or a couch potato. It is a lot of people like Saul that understand the game of basketball. I don't call them water boys or couch potatoes. My co-host, Justin Termini on the NBA Today show every day, 4 to 7 Eastern time, 1 to 4 Pacific. He used to be a water boy when I first met him. But since I've been around him, and he knows the history of the game like no other.
He really does.
So
he really does.
He's not a water boy, and he's not a couch potato. Dude works hard. So people tend to think that I try to make a statement that just because you didn't play, that you're not worthy to talk about the game. That's not true. I have a lot of my friends. We sit around and argue about basketball all the time, and they didn't play, and I respect their opinions. Here's where you don't understand why I call people water boys. The only people that are water boys to me are the ones that make a comment, but they don't have anything to back up their comment. They'll just say something stupid, but they don't give the reason why they said it.
Mm-hmm.
Or because they don't understand how to say it. Oh, he stinks. He can't play. He needs to get traded. That's all you would say, right? Without giving the reason. If he stinks, tell us why he stinks. He's not coming off screens good. He's not doing this. Then I'll be like, oh, okay. Look, you got an argument there. You're not a water boy. It's levels to water boys. But no. So I don't want people to think just because they don't play that I think they're not worthy to have a dispute with me or comment. So that's not true. A water boy is a person that doesn't back up what he says. Okay? And then a couch potato, he's a couch potato.
Yeah.
He's not athletic. He just yaps. He's jealous. But they make too much money. That's why, one of them dudes, without giving anything. Okay? So I do respect people that didn't play in the league. So get used to the definitions, okay, you couch potato. That's to the guy that sent me that message on Twitter. I'm not going to even give you the worth to say who you are. You don't deserve it, you couch potato.
Oh boy. Oh
All
boy.
right.
All right.
I'm
You
done
good?
with that. No
Okay.
more. No
Okay.
more. I'm done with that definition. Explaining it to people.
All right. Well, I that was random. That was very random. So somebody hit you up on Twitter.
Yeah, he's obviously watching the show.
Okay.
He's watching the show. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good for him. Whoever that
Yeah.
is, shout out to you for being called out today. Again, I listen. EJ and I have talked so many times about different things in terms of basketball and stuff like that. But also, like, I've talked to football players, and it's not like I've ever coached or played in the NFL. But if you have a reasonable take and you can back it up with not only your perspective but also maybe even some stats to back up what you're saying, like anybody can listen to that. And
Anybody can.
I've never felt like, listen, I've talked ball with guys that have never picked up a basketball before. Sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can't. But I think just about everybody understands that, like, listen, if you come with knowledgeable takes, then there's nothing wrong with that. And
No.
so it's
So
unfortunate.
you know what the prevailing move now for people. If I say something about politics, which I am a tax-paying freaking citizen, you stoops.
Stick to sports.
Yeah, stick to sport. And I pay more damn taxes than your whole family.
Yeah.
Really? Stop. I think I should be a lot interested in our political system and who's going to be in place. Okay, because it affects me. I got kids.
Yeah.
Please. So I'm not, but I do know my politics. I tell you that. I'm just not out there randomly saying stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I know my politics. Trust me. I was a history major, people. Okay, I took political science. I watch CNN. I sneak in and watch Fox every now and then until I get ready to throw up. But other than that, I'm good.
I stay away from politics completely because of one major reason. Actually, two major reasons. One, I don't have the energy for it. I have my own thoughts. I have my own opinions, but I do not have the energy to get into these battles with people about every little small thing. I don't have the energy to deal with, this side and blah, blah, blah. I just don't. I don't care enough. And then the second thing. This is me. And then the second part is, because I like when I come here, I just want to talk ball, right? And everybody's a little bit different. And I'm not saying you're wrong in this at all, EJ. I'm just saying, like, this is my takeaway from what I get to do here is I like to just talk ball. And when you start to throw in politics, people will start to focus on that stuff more than they do what you're talking about in terms of their favorite teams, right? And I just prefer to not, because I don't want you, because there are some people out there that if you were like on the left or on the right, that's all they're going to hear out of your mouth from that point forward. And it doesn't matter if you have the best basketball take in the world, it's always going to come from a side of bias because of either they hate you or they love you. And I don't really want to go there. So I just stay right in the middle. I don't talk about it. I don't really care about it unless like what happened during the pandemic, there are some things that just rise above some of this discourse where you just have to address it because it does affect us on an everyday basis. So those things I will bring up, but I typically try to stay away from it because I don't care about what other people think about everything.
I hear you on that. And look, but I come from a different way of thinking in life. Like I actually didn't know I was going to make the NBA until I was probably going into my senior year of college. Like I felt I had a chance, but I didn't think it was a definitive thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I changed my major. That's why I went to straight history because I wanted to go to law school. And I've always been interested in politics. I've always been interested in who's leading our country. And so those are things that sometimes people don't know about you. They think they can pigeonhole you into, okay, you're a basketball player and you're an announcer. No, dude. I'm a lot more deeper than that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, a lot more. I have a securities license. It's not up to date now because I stopped doing it years ago. People don't know things about me. that, I write books. I have a new novel coming out. Okay. People don't know that. It's done. I've been writing it for 3 years.
What's it
Like,
about?
oh, the title has not been decided yet. We're battling between the two.
Are you finally getting into the romance world?
It's not romance. It's more of it's a drama. And
Okay.
it's serious. It's done. And
Okay.
it's like people think they know me because they see me call Suns games and and all of that. No, no, no. I'm a lot more deeper than that. Like I have spent my whole life learning different things. I don't broadcast it out. I go around and have done motivational speeches into companies, and it's not about basketball. It's a lot of leadership.
Yeah.
I refuse to go in there and talk about basketball. If a company have me come in, I'm not talking about basketball. Like I'm talking about life lessons. Like that's what I enjoy doing. And so for me, like obviously, I was the MC for our governor's inauguration. Like people think that I'm like peeking into politics or I'm peeking into something. No, I'm a human that likes to deviate to all types of things. And that's the part that gets on me. It's almost like, you grow up in the city, right? People, the prevailing thought is, well, if he's not going to be able to play basketball, he's not going to make it. Do you know how
Yeah.
many people said that to me growing up?
A lot.
That if I didn't see, and that's why I got my degree. That's why I went and got extra education after that. Like I tried to do everything I could that I liked. Got my history degree. I even have a minor in driver education. Like seriously, like went and got a securities license. Like I have always tried to keep adding on to stuff. Like I'm an analyst, right? So what did they tell me, Saul? Like you're an analyst. You just talk about basketball. I'm like, no, I can host too. So guess what? When my co-host Justin Termini is on vacation, they don't
Mhm.
bring somebody in to lead me. I host. Like, and I went out to New York, got taught, learned my stuff, watched them to do it. So when people try to like take back from you and try to limit you and what you can say and do, man, kick freaking rocks. That's your lonely life. Like, I'm 65 years old. I'm gonna learn everything when I come out with that new novel. Ha ha! Woo! EJ it might be a movie.
Uh,
It's gonna be
well,
good, baby.
well,
It's gonna
EJ,
be good.
EJ, I gotta ask now. So first of all, you would be the second person in the All City family to launch a book while you are currently employed or work in some capacity for the company. Our guys, shout out to Zach Berman, by the way, out in Philly. He just launched his book out there he's the host of the Eagles pod out there.
Mhm.
But, so I guess I'm going to put you on the spot and say, when this book comes out, we're going to have to put together some kind of an event and a book signing. Yeah.
Well, we will. Without a doubt, we will.
Okay. Yeah.
Without a
Fantastic.
doubt,
Yeah.
we will.
I would love that. I would love that.
Yeah,
A
yeah. I
live show.
partnered up. I partnered up with a tremendous espionage writer because, again, to write a novel like this in a fiction book, it's really difficult, right? And so, what I did for 3 years, I just wrote, man. I just had stacks of stuff, and I gave it all to him. I said, "Look, we spent time together." I said, this is the story that I have. I love it. It's great. I've been working on this forever. And he said, I said, I want you to partner with me, because I don't know if I can put it on paper and play games with it like you can.
Hmm.
And he agreed to do it. And so he and I've been working on it for 3 years. Yeah. I know people
Wow.
say, well, damn, when does he find the time for all of that? That's my point, people. So don't think I'm not doing my homework when I make statements. Like, no, I do my homework.
Listen, man. Listen. I think that's the one thing about the media that I have learned so much about in the course of the last decade
Hmm.
is when you come across people like yourself, from the outside looking in, you just know he's a broadcaster, and every now and then when you're looking on social, you see that he's doing this event or that event, right?
Hmm.
But you don't even understand the amount, like EJ's day, for instance, right? Like today. perfect example. Today's like the epitome of what it would be, right? You do this show in the morning, then you got your NBA satellite radio show, and then you have the Suns game tonight, and then you jump on a plane and you get home at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then you start all over again the next day.
Yeah.
And that's just a microcosm of all the other things. That's not to include all the radio spots that people ask you to do, or the guest
helping hand
appearances
for
on this,
single
that,
mom.
the charity.
My event is coming up here October 17th, 18th, and 19th. Eddie Johnson and Friends weekend.
Next weekend.
We still got tickets available, people. So you like to play poker, you can come play the poker tournament on the 17th and network with a lot of different celebrities. On the 18th is our shotgun golf tournament. And then on the 19th, we're roasting Sean Marion. And so right now we got Bo Outlaw, Kurt Thomas, Rex Chapman. We're going to add one more person. They're going to roast, and this all goes to a great benefit. I've raised over $3 million over the last number of years to send single moms to college, to make them the hero in their home. So my wife and I spend a lot of time doing that. So it's like we're constantly doing stuff, and we have a touch. We have a pulse on everything, not only within this community but nationally. Okay. And politically within this community. And so when I make a statement, if I say something, just don't think that I'm just following somebody, or it's a decision that I've made. And you have to respect my decision as I have to respect yours. So that's just how I roll.
Absolutely. And Eric will drop that link in the chat as well. We've put it in there before. If you want to join the fun and the cause by coming out to this Helping Hands for Single Mothers events all next weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's gonna be a phenomenal time. I went out there last year. It was terrific, and EJ does a fantastic job of putting on this event. His wife, of course, helps out a lot as well.
She does. She's the brains behind the event, without a doubt.
The main orchestrator right there. She does a phenomenal job as well. So yeah, if you got an opportunity, please donate to the cause. Come out, golf, poker, whatever. Last year, I'll tell you what, poker was pretty cool. Just so you all know, typically there's going to be a highly visible type of person, either athlete or some high community member that will be at the table as well. Like last year, I didn't even realize I was sitting across from Jim McMahon playing poker until I took his money. Then I realized, oh damn, that's why they kept calling him Jim. So I thought that was pretty cool. Flex and I were out there last year. We had a terrific time all the way through and through. So make sure you help the cause. All right, but finally, Eddie, we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to do kind of like a quick kind of take.
So I'm sorry. www.helpinghandsforsinglemoms.org. Okay?
It's already in the chat. There you go. Just click the link and you should be good to go. And if you can't click the link, just copy and paste it into your browser. You're good to go. And so anyway, we're going to do kind of a fast kind of blur through some of the things that have happened this past week that I wanted to get your 2 cents on. And we'll start with the news of Shams Charania yesterday getting the gig, the Woj gig over at ESPN as a senior NBA insider. It seems like a no-brainer. It kind of seemed like that was, in the works already. What's your initial impressions of that, EJ?
Well, he actually got started under Woj. So I don't know if a lot of people know that. And obviously friction developed over the years. That's what happened. I'm still sure they respect one another. But when you're competing with somebody, it's just like playing tennis against a good friend. Yeah. Or golf against a good friend. I mean, it's like, okay, when or basketball, I never talked to my good friends when I played against them doing a playoff series. I didn't speak to them. They didn't speak to me. But after that, you respect them. I thought that he would get it as well. I like Shams. I think he does a tremendous job. But that job that he's going to have over there is not just him doing that. He's overseeing a lot of people over there too. Like, it's just not, he's by himself. Like, he has a responsibility within ESPN. And so, yeah, that's good for him. I don't know how good Woj feels about it, but obviously Woj decided to leave. And so shouldn't matter. But he'll do a great job.
Hey, listen, man, he wanted to go to St. Bonaventure and do his thing. I can't fault him. Again, like that's the point, right, Eddie? I'm sure his salary at ESPN was more significant than it is at St. Bonnie's, right? But it doesn't matter about the money. It's about what makes you happy. And if you feel like this is the type of move that you want to make because you feel like you got more of an impact and it'll be more satisfying to your soul, then do it. And I think that's what everybody should take away from life. It's not about the money all the time. It's not about,
No.
like, listen, I'm a perfect example of this, right? A month and a half ago, I was faced with a decision. Can I get a promotion within this company and oversee things across the country, or can I stay at PHNX and keep doing what I'm doing? And
Right.
it was tough. It was really tough. Yeah, the promotion comes with a few more dollars, sure, but like what we built at PHNX, and the people that I'm surrounded by every single day, that was almost worth the sacrifice of what I would have been giving up on the dollar side.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, I felt like I could have a little bit more of an impact across the country as opposed to just one city. And so I opted for the other. Listen, I work at home now. I'm fully remote. And yeah, it sucks to not be around people anymore. It absolutely sucks. And so you take the good with the bad, right? And it's ultimately you got to vet it out and feel like, is it good for your psyche? Is it good for your soul? Is it going to make you happy? And if you can make that decision and feel comfortable with it, then do it. And I think what Woj did is phenomenal because he's doing what he wants to do. And I think that's what we should all be doing.
Look, I've been in the NBA for 40 years, man. Like, it's crazy. Like, I've been in the NBA for over 40 years. Like, 17 as a player, and this is my 25th year with the Suns. And I'm going to tell people right now, the two jobs I have, unbelievable. Think about it. Like, I travel first class with the Suns, stay in first 5-star hotels,
Tough
with a
life.
nice per diem. I never see my luggage till it's in my room. Like, it's beautiful. But guess what? That part can get tiring too. Traveling all the time, getting up at, early and then having to get into town at 3 a.m. So just to let you know, EJ's not going to be doing this much longer. Like, he's not. I'm not going to announce it, but it'll be spontaneous. Like, I'm not. I want to travel. That's my next step here. I want to write and I want to travel. And so that's my next step. And so try to enjoy me now because I'm telling you, not going to be many more years after this. And so it's just that I'm just ready to. I'm going to Ghana this year, doing the All-Star break. I went to Israel the year before that. I went to Dubai the year before that. So I'm trying to strategically just go. I've been all over the world anyway. I've been everywhere pretty much. I've been all through Europe. I've been to Asia, but there's other places that I have not been to. Portugal is another. Want to go there. Want to go to Australia, Fiji. There's just so many places I do want to go, and I'm just not going to be able to do it and still work. And so that's just the way it is. You want to be happy, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Be happy.
A million percent. Listen, I don't care where you go in the world. I just I think I force you to make a promise to me that the next time you go to Greece, you gotta give me the heads up so I can make travel arrangements myself. I want to go to Greece.
Look,
I was just talking to my wife about that the other day. I was like, listen, if I ever go to Greece, I got to try and convince Eddie to go.
You got to go with me, bro. Because I'm telling you, when we get I'm telling you, people don't want to believe it. Just look it up on YouTube, see how much they love me. I am telling you right now, the moment I let my Greek friends know and all the people in Greece, the media and everything, we land at the airport, I guarantee you it's going to be 2,000-3,000 people at the airport. Wait.
I would love to see it.
Saul come off like he just a king. He come off. Eddie, Magic Eddie. They call me Magic Eddie. Magic Eddie, he's with you. Yeah, Saul's with me.
Magic Eddie.
And they be calling you King Saul.
Oh my goodness! Listen, in that part of the world, I don't know if I want that moniker. So, Mark R just said, "Hey, I just got back from Greece on my honeymoon. Congratulations, Mark."
Yeah, see, if you had told me and you said Eddie Johnson, Olympiacos, you would have gotten free deal, free food. Without a doubt, they would have given you dinner.
Also, Amelia is in the chat. She said, "Crazy stuff. Espo is on a power trip still. He says it every show." Oh boy, I haven't watched a lot of Sun shows of late. I miss my people, but apparently Espo is on a power trip on the
Is
the
it?
PHX
He the
show.
boss now. He the boss now.
You can't stop him at
He
all
doesn't know
now.
how to be a boss. He doesn't know how to be a boss, huh? Better watch what you say to me, Espo.
There's you're talking about people getting along. These two people don't apparently because there's a fight that is coming up soon between Chad Johnson and James Harrison, who have agreed to an MMA fight. I'm not going to sit here and say who I think is going to win, but I think we know who's going to win this. I don't care what Chad Ochocinco thinks he can do. I don't care if he thinks he is a phenomenal jiu-jitsu or karate or wrestler. It doesn't matter. James Harrison is going to destroy him, and I don't know why they agreed to this.
Well, see, Saul, I'm going to tell you this, though. That's not always true.
Oh, man, Chad ain't got a shot, man.
I'm gonna tell you why it's not always true. Is because small don't mean nothing when it comes to MMA. It doesn't, man.
I know,
it's quick.
But James Harrison
I
is
know,
a
but it's just
dog.
I hear you, but that's a different kind of movement, man. Like Saul, it's not wrestling. It's wrestling to a point, right? It's wrestling to a point. If that's the rules they're gonna have, right? So I get that part. But I've been in nightclubs and I've seen boxers like Michael Carbajal. Mm-hmm. Michael Carbajal about 4'2". Michael, I'm just kidding. You're not
105 pounds soaking wet. Yeah, I got
you.
You
know, I used to, go down to Scottsdale every now and then in my younger days. And so he was at the bar. And I'm standing over there and he's over there and stuff. And I said, you know what? You better get up off me. I was just kidding, right? And I said, well, I'd knock you out. I said, it's a limit to who you can hurt.
No.
And he looked at me and he's like, really? I said, it's a limit now. I'd knock you out, right? But no, it wasn't. I know him.
No,
right?
I know.
Knew him
I know.
Like that. Man, this dude, he threw 5 punches, okay? He threw 5 punches at me in the span of probably a second and a half. And none of them hit me. But they all came within like a millimeter of my face. It was like, whoa. I was like, okay, all right. I was like,
yeah.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Yeah, that
No. So all I'm saying to you is, Chad Johnson is crazy enough to get in there and do something that's shocking. That's all. I just wouldn't put it. That dude's a competitor, man. He talks a lot of junk. He's funny as heck.
Yeah, he is.
That dude is funny. But I'm just telling you, he's a competitor, man. I know James Harrison is crazy on that football field with a helmet on. I get that. But in that ring is a different animal.
But James Harrison he's got the size, the strength, and the crazy mentality to match up with. He's a different kind of crazy than Ocho. They're both crazy. And so it'll be interesting, but I just don't see how Ochocinco is going to even last the first round. I think he's going to get
look, obviously, they both like money or they both need money, one of the two. Because there's no way I'm getting in that damn ring and do anything like that. Even though I have to admit, when I retired and I was in my second year broadcasting with the Suns, I was walking around Orlando and I happened upon Amateur Fight Night. And I didn't know what it was, but I was walking around and I just went in. And this is when I was still like in good shape. Mm-hmm. And I walked in and it was Amateur Fight Night. And I was looking and stuff, and I was asking questions like, "What? Anybody can get up there and do that?" Like, yeah, prize is like worth $1,000,
Mhm.
$2,000, whatever. You got to win like 3 fights or something. But and I was like, that's on my bucket list. Seriously, I used to fight all the time in school, man. I mean, you had to fight in school, right? So, and where I grew up,
If
so I
it
was like, I haven't had a fight in a long time. Now I can just have one legally. So I signed up.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, so I put my name on the list, and I went back to the hotel, and I got some shorts and stuff, and I'm walking back over there. And so when I get over there, I get like 3/4 of the way there, and I say, Eddie, what are you doing? Like, it wasn't that I was scared. It was more so I got to call games.
Yeah. Can't
So
do that with
how's it
black
gonna
eyes.
look if I get popped? I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do it.
If it
So
makes you
I went back in there. I told the guy, I said, man, you know what, man, I'm not gonna do it. And I let him keep because I think he had to pay a fee or something, like 100, 200. I said, keep the money. I'm not gonna do it.
if it makes you feel any better, when I first got to San Antonio, I was going there to train to be a drill sergeant, and that was right at the time when the Contender Series started.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first season of the Contender Series, and they're getting all these amateurs that And I sat there and I was like, man, I could do that. I could do that. And I actually went out and I looked and I found a boxing a trainer in
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio. But the thing that deterred me was I had to go meet this trainer at his house, and he in his house at his house he had like a huge like facility. But this house was out in the middle of nowhere. And when I say the middle of nowhere, it was real sketch. And so I pull in and I see like these broken down cars everywhere. And I'm like, what the hell? And I got out of the car and I would have got back in the car, except I did hear like, the
Mm-hmm.
sounds of like inside a garage. And I was just like, well, I went over and I opened this garage and there was a guy sitting in a chair and he was training some girl boxer in a ring. And but nobody else was around and nobody wanted to talk to me. And it was just, I was lost. And I was like, maybe this ain't for me. And so I just left and that was that. Right. So I think we
Yeah.
all dabble and think we could do stuff like that, but then reality sets in and
I mean, just the euphoria I was having from like, I'm not a violent person, but you got boxing gloves on because back in the day you fought with your fists, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not proud of it, but I had no choice but to fight growing up. Like
Yeah.
people picked on me. It's weird. I'm the tallest guy, but you get these guys want to feel like they want to test you,
Yeah.
and so you're either gonna fight or you're gonna get your butt kicked. So we got
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah.
So I lost a few, but I won a majority of them, and so I just had a desire to like get in the ring and just knock somebody out. Just like,
it
stand
would be a,
over.
it would be a good feeling, but
I backed
dreaming
out
is
of
free
that one.
now.
Yeah, I backed out of that one.
Well, hey folks.
I don't want somebody to ruin this, because the Denzel, the
Oh,
people always, oh, people, man, come on, people always tell me, like, if they'd have gotten a hold of me younger, I could have stood in for Denzel.
oh my goodness. All right. That's
Yeah.
it, folks. That's enough for the day. Thank you for so much for joining us on Outside Shots. Watch the Suns tonight in EJ call the game as they take on the Pistons out in East Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah, the
Follow
Detroit
EJ.
Pistons.
Follow EJ at JumpShot8 on Twitter and on Instagram. You can follow me at Saul_Bookman on both as well. And you can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. And tune in today, 3
Hey,
p.m.
and we're gonna
For
we're gonna
the
get
show.
more guests this year too. We're
Absolutely.
gonna start getting more guests in here, so Saul and I not hogging all the spotlight. So look forward to that as well. EJ's got
Absolutely.
his database going. I'm gonna have some surprise guests. So
And,
always stay informed.
and let me rewind, not 3 p.m. today. It'll be a post-game show today for the game. So tune in there. Thanks to Eric Ruby behind the scenes. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Peace.